So, good morning, everyone. This is Sandeep. I'm chair of Tunneling Association of India Young Members, and I welcome you today for a very interesting webinar, a very interesting talk from Mr. Ben Chapman. He's the managing director of Australian Turntables, and he is looking after the global business. It's a very nice innovation. It has been there in the industry for quite some time now. We had turntables for mining to begin with, and then making it way through tunneling. And there were few projects in India where turntables were used. Ben would be the right person to speak about it, and he has lots of experience. He has been managing this company for a long time, and uh, his experience will definitely be very useful for us. We will be learning from him and asking lots of questions, and I'm sure it's going to be a very good session. Ben, I invite you now to please take over and share more about turntables.
Thank you, Sandeep, and thank you, Anshul and Sweta, for inviting me to this presentation today. It's a real honour. I was surprised to get the call, and really appreciate the opportunity to speak with yourselves and the group and the attendees today. And thank you for showing some interest. So when I've developed this presentation, we want to make sure that I want to provide as much information as possible that I think might be useful for each of you in your career. We'll start with some introductory videos, one or two videos that will help explain, show everybody what the technology does and some of the benefits. We'll then go through a few slides which will give an overview of the benefits to the industry and the clients. And then we'll move into some more technical detail, and I'll try and provide as much information that you might find useful there as possible. And then obviously we can enter into a question and answer stage at the end. So I'd be more than pleased to take on any questions. Hopefully I can answer them suitably. But even so, I'm always contactable if we need to go into a bit more detail and get some more detailed answers. We can take that offline. So I'll just start off with the first slide, which is a bit of an overview of showcasing some of our heavy industry projects. All right. So you'll see here just a number of different industries, different applications, but all very much centered around the same simple process of positioning trucks a lot more simply on a construction site. So again, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. We have developed a new way for the tunnelling and construction industry to improve safety and efficiency on job sites. As I've mentioned before, we're here to discuss the benefits and the details. We've been considering the tunnelling industry for quite some time. We have been delivering solutions for projects mostly in Australia for the past 6 or 7 years. And I'll just show you another quick video, which is a case study of a recent one that we performed for the Sydney Metro site just last year.
The Metro is actually the largest public transport project in Australia. It gives us the ability to do so much more. Lessons out of constraints, really, and it's a perfect tool, really, for sites or areas that are tight. Turntables has given us the ability to turn these oil trucks and concrete trucks into the ground. It is a lot safer. You don't have trucks trying to do 3-point. They're basically that fast. I'm not letting them. There's no hiccups. The team was down here before I knew it. The turntables relocated. We're good to go. So the contracts, the design, the installation, and the maintenance of it, it all went very smoothly. No complaints. It's never broken down. It's been absolutely reliable.
So I'm not sure if you could hear the audio of that video, but again, we'll share that after the presentation. I'll be able to send the links to the videos. And again,
sorry to interrupt. It was audible actually.
Sorry, it was audible?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. So I don't want to watch that again. So at the end of the day, with any technology or any product you want to bring into any industry, at the end of the day, what's the value to the customer? And obviously, the construction companies are typically our customers. So these benefits here go across all different industries we work in. So we really focus on the core benefits, which are improving safety. Now, we improve safety by eliminating or reducing reverse manoeuvres, and we've got some more details on that later on. It increases efficiency and productivity, and again, we'll go into that in more detail, but essentially you're able to process more material or more trucks per shift. We utilise space more effectively, and the tunnelling industry is a perfect example of space is critical. And if you get an opportunity to optimise space, then that is worth looking at. And obviously, traffic management in the tunnelling environment is a real challenge. So we certainly simplify traffic management at the design stage and reduce traffic delay. So the competitive advantage that we can provide as a company is we've been supplying tier 1 construction companies across the globe. So our process, our documentation, our service and delivery is global world-class standards, and we pride ourselves on being a great partner for all of our clients. We have proven reliability in this product. We've designed and engineered it for it just has to operate. It has to operate consistently all the time. So we understand the issues of machinery failing during the construction phase. It has a massive cost. And we've proven the savings in project costs. All these things we'll talk about in a little bit more detail. I do have another quick video. So I'm putting a heap of videos up the front because it's a really great way to explain what we do. Now, this project's for a cement plant. It's not in the tunnelling, but again, the benefits are very similar. But even in the tunnelling industry, there are on-surface works and construction areas where you could consider this equipment as well, very similar to a cement plant, which we delivered into Colombia in South America. So I'll just share that now. It goes for a couple of minutes.
Turntables es una empresa reconocida a nivel global, especializada en sistemas de plataformas giratorias. Desde 1987, proveemos plataformas a varias industrias, acompañando a nuestros clientes desde el concepto inicial hasta la terminación del proceso y su seguimiento.
Mi nombre es Juan David Pérez y mi papel en el proyecto, yo fui el jefe de proyectos 9PC. Una de esas funciones era el montaje de una plataforma giratoria para los camiones.
Mi nombre es Ismael Novoa. Yo en Cementos Alión soy el gerente de materias primas. Nosotros estamos ubicados en el paraje de Río Claro, en el municipio de Ronzón, hoy día Bogotá, Medellín, y autopista también.
Teníamos que resolver un problema logístico para el ingreso de los camiones de materia prima en un espacio muy reducido. Entonces los camiones normalmente no giraban para poder descargar la materia prima.
Mi nombre es Pedro Yuca. Mi papel en el proyecto de Ecocementos fue director de proyecto. La razón por la que escogimos usar esta plataforma es porque el área de maniobra de los camiones que llevan materia prima a esa nueva planta, estamos hablando de más o menos 15.000 toneladas por día, es un área muy pequeña y para los camiones de gran tamaño, estamos hablando de 12 metros, era fundamental poder hacer maniobras de forma segura y que no afectara mecánicamente a los camiones. Escogimos a Australian Turntables después de una selección de diferentes proveedores en el mundo. Había proveedores brasileños, chinos, españoles, australianos. Y escogimos a Australian Turntables porque no solamente tenía un precio muy competitivo, sino la calidad y el diseño de los equipos era por lejos bastante mejor, más sólido y más simple que el de los competidores.
Cuando conocemos el equipo, vemos que es un equipo fácil de manejar, que es un equipo seguro, que no representa riesgos para las personas, para los trabajadores, no hay unas partes móviles, en fin. Entonces creemos que era un equipo que nos daba total tranquilidad, especialmente para la seguridad de las personas, para el riesgo de las personas. Pero unas cuentas iniciales que se hacían, podían ingresar cerca de 25 camiones día, si la plataforma te daba, puede ser para 5 camiones, 6, 7 camiones.
El principal beneficio realmente es con la seguridad operativa, el tener los camiones, la logística de los camiones organizada de tal manera que no tengan que acumularse tantos camiones para hacer el giro y ubicarse en la plataforma de descarga, hace que la operación sea más segura.
La fiabilidad y confiabilidad y la operación de Australian Turntables superó nuestras expectativas porque ya llevamos más de un año operando en condiciones ambientales muy complicadas, donde llueve todos los días grandes cantidades, con temperaturas ambientales y humedades altísimas. Y después de un año de operación no hemos tenido nunca ninguna falla, ningún problema. La confiabilidad es básicamente del 100%. Fácil y muy confiable operar.
Yo creería que puede presentar muchos beneficios en diferentes obras y especialmente en temas logísticos, pero en general para cualquier empresa grande que tenga un tema logístico y que tenga problemas de espacio, es una muy buena solución.
Estamos seguros de que en los próximos proyectos, varios de ellos se van a instalar este tipo de solución de mesa rotatoria porque realmente optimiza mucho el tráfico, sobre todo llegada de materiales o salida de materiales. Fueron muy seguras a un costo muy razonable con propio paper.
Okay, so great. So moving on, just a quick background on Australian Turntables. So the company was founded in 1987. My mother and father started the company, and from the moment I finished my schooling, I was dragged out of bed to join the company as well. So I've been at the company for a very long time, worked on a lot of projects. Since 2000, the company's been ISO accredited in safety, quality and environmental standards. And they're obviously they're more and more important, but they are, we see them as like a sign of the quality product and company that you're going to get. We've exported to 21 countries around the world, and we have agents and distributors and partners in a lot of those. I know that the webinar is organised by the Indian chapter. India is one of those countries that we are focusing on. We've been promoting ourselves into the market in tunnelling, but also in mining and cement plants for the past 12 months or so. And we've also just in the last week incorporated a subsidiary company in India as well with and very soon we'll have our employees on the ground ready to support everyone we're selling to. We've also recently just established a subsidiary company in the US, and across our time we supplied a lot of large scale projects. So seen some really interesting stuff around the years. So for tunnel construction, the phases of use we've used in Australia have been for demolition, particularly in central business districts. Often what's happening in Australia is there's multi-storey towers or skyscrapers that have to be demolished so they can excavate and then construct the whether it's the metro station or the shaft, whatever. So that demolition phase, we've been included on projects for that place. Again, they will load the turntables up with the rubble, so the trucks enter, spin around, get loaded up, and then they exit. Excavation, both on the surface at the shaft areas, as you see there, the image on the top left, but also being used for excavation in the tunnel getting rid of that material as well. And then obviously material deliveries, whether it's aggregate, concrete, or even construction materials. We've had turntables that are located in the tunnel area, and as the tunnel advances, the turntable gets relocated along with it. But the key, really, one of the key benefits of this product, particularly in the tunnel industry, is the safety benefit. So I'm sure everyone's probably come across the issue of having trucks having to reverse long distances down a tunnel, or they have to do 15-point turns in a tunnel. It's not ideal, I think, everyone. So what we're offering the tunnelling industry is an opportunity to reconsider your traffic management and flow, and really try and eliminate that safety hazard, which obviously the elimination in the hierarchy of controls is the what you should strive for, the most effective solution. And we believe that the turntable achieves elimination of reversing manoeuvres is a massive safety benefit. So in all the global codes of practice, they will talk about reversing trucks as being a major contributor to deaths in the construction industry all over the globe. So the numbers are varied, but fairly considerable. So and as they say in there, where practical, plants should always move in a forward direction. So that's what we're offering from the safety side of things. Just some vehicle backovers or reversing vehicle statistics in construction. So we focus here on the US. 47% of all fatal work injuries in 2018 were in construction. So obviously it's a dangerous place to work, and if we can look for ways to reduce that risk, then we should do that. And we think this is not a bad opportunity. Back over fatalities in the US, you're talking a non-fatal injury cost is for average of $42,000, but if there's a fatality, losses are valued at average of around $4 million US. That's in the US. Obviously, it's different in different countries, but the cost of safety incidents, and I know all you people know this very clearly, it's huge. So over a 5-year period, over a 10-year period from 2005 to 2010, you're talking nearly 200 fatalities, and in a 5-year period from 2011 to 15, there's 100 fatalities. So you're looking around over a 10-year period in the US, you're still looking at around 200 fatalities every decade, which is a high number of people. I wasn't able to get any figures specific to tunnelling or India in particular, but this is from the research. You know, these figures kind of translate across all over the globe. So again, with the health and safety focus, we eliminate reversing or reduce it at the very least. We eliminate multi-point manoeuvres. And when our construction clients have put these on site, since 2012, we've had 0 truck-human incidents or interactions. So 0 have been recorded when the turntable's been installed. So we think it's a great solution for that alone, the health and safety. But obviously that doesn't always get considered in the cost benefit analysis. So we have to look at some other avenues as well. No, sorry, just one more on the health and safety. So what you'll see the turntable. What people don't normally see is that we also provide systems around the turntable to provide like a safety curtain, and it's using sensors and laser scanners and some other equipment to that if it surrounds the turntable, if anything moves into that space or the vehicle isn't positioned properly, then the turntable either stops operating or it doesn't start operating. So if the truck's turning and a person walks into that designated rotation zone, the turntable stops automatically. So there's some really good technology supporting the actual turntable platform. Coordination of space in tunnelling, it's a key consideration that you all would have come across. So obviously we reduce the traffic area because traffic area, you need to allow for trucks to turn around in some way. So we obviously reduce that area, which you can use. You can optimise that space for other purpose, or it might mean reducing the amount of turnaround bays, for example. So that increases your design options if you've got the turntable. And considering in tunnelling that the turntable is, we can supply a portable unit that moves along as the tunnel advances, or if your construction requirements, it might be that in a very short, all of a sudden you have an issue at a different site, we can relocate the turntable to that area. So it really improves your traffic management. As I mentioned before, it reduces the need of construction of turnaround bays. So depending on obviously the type of tunnel construction. And I've got a flag here. I'm not an expert in tunnel construction. My specialty is turntables, but we've been involved in a number of projects, so I know, I might know the terminology right, but we certainly know where the benefits are. But in Australia, in some tunnels, they have to construct turnaround bays. Obviously, the only other option is for a truck to reverse long distances down a tunnel. Well, we eliminate the need to do that. And that obviously, if you're not reversing a long way, that obviously reduces vehicle collisions with construction plant and infrastructure. So any scaffolding or any type of plant that's installed in the tunnel during construction is less likely to be damaged by a vehicle crashing into it. A massive key, and I've got a case study which I'll discuss a bit further down the presentation, but a massive benefit to this product is productivity. We increase the number of traffic movements per shift. So if that's a concrete delivery on the tunnel projects we worked on, we're often tripling the amount of 3 times the amount of productivity once the turntable's installed, just purely by allowing the trucks to deliver, rotate and exit in a forward direction has at a minimum a three times productivity gain. So obviously that has an impact on, and if we focus on whether it's excavation or concrete delivery, it allows your planning, when you're planning your schedule, to achieve a much better result. So in concrete delivery, often you might be restricted by the site without a turntable for X amount of square metres of concrete delivery. With the turntable, you can allow for, during a shift, to have a much larger volume delivery. So that gives you some more options during the planning and scheduling stage. You should also consider that you can park and rotate more than one vehicle on the turntable at a time. So you could almost you set up almost like a distribution delivery method, where whilst one truck's being loaded or unloaded, the next truck can be can park right next to that truck that's being utilised and is ready to be loaded or unloaded as soon as the other truck's finished. So there's some really cool options with regards to productivity gain, and obviously reducing the schedule is a pretty big benefit. So one example of that productivity gain, this is a project that was for excavation in the Sydney CBD. The construction team were planning for 70 trucks per day. With the turntable, they averaged 170 trucks per day in a 10-hour shift. So that was a great example. I've got some video of it here, and you can see it in operation. It's obviously sped up, but you see it's really efficient. It's right off the street. Trucks know where to position themselves exactly, and even whilst they're rotating, we're utilising the turntable to position the trucks, so it simplifies the process for the excavator. So this just kept running all day. Some results we achieved with the Sydney Metro project, the Pitt Street, which has been completed now. We actually came in halfway through the project because the team were really struggling with their schedule. They were going to run well over schedule, and in this particular project, the charges for late delivery were significant. So they brought us in. Before we installed the turntable, they had a maximum of 10 deliveries in a 12-hour period in this particular area. As soon as they installed the turntable, they achieved 35 deliveries in 12 hours as a maximum. So again, pretty much more than tripled the productivity gain on site for that place. They had it was a 30-minute truck turnaround time for each truck cycle, which that's the reason why they couldn't get as many trucks through. We reduced that down to 3 minutes. So a massive reduction in the turnaround time of the truck. They really did have schedule challenges, so they were going to run over schedule, which was going to cost them a lot of money. But because they installed the turntable, they brought the project back in line and finished ahead of schedule. So just an awesome result there. They did have a single staging area for trucks for the truck, so their traffic management was very regimented. They had no flexibility, but because we were able to relocate the the turntable a number of times, it gave them a lot more flexibility with the direction and the flow of the vehicles. And obviously they were having to do multi-point turns required, or they were reversing hundreds of metres, and we eliminated that process. So the Sydney Metro project, which is linked to the video shown earlier, is just a great example on the massive impact that including a turntable can have on a site. And this is really where we start talking about return on investment. So we typically hire the product into a project like this, or in some cases it might be purchased with a buyback offer. So we've got some options there, but you can see it's the cost of the turntable is nothing compared to the benefit gained in projects like this. I've got some customer testimonials here. I'll send through the presentation. I don't need, but these are the customers in Australia. These are large tier ones. You might have heard of these companies. I know they're also in India and across the world. We've delivered projects for all these customers in the tunnel projects. So again, return on investment, as I mentioned before, we do explore this really deeply with our customers, and we're often helping understand the opportunities to look for return on investment and help to write the reports if required. But often, particularly in tunnelling, we can really reduce the schedule, particularly in the construction of the tunnel as it progresses. We increase the workforce productivity. Obviously, if you're able to deliver more concrete per shift, you can also get a more productive workforce as well. Again, it's the same in the excavation, and it reduces cost of construction purely by reducing that schedule. So there's some keys there that help deliver a cost benefit to the project. So we can show in a number of ways that you include this product on site. It actually makes the project more profitable for you in a small way. So the product is hired, so there's no capex or capital expenditure, and we hire it out for a number of. We also maintain the product during that period, so there's no maintenance costs. Operating costs are very low. So with the cost once the product's on site, the cost is much lower than the returns that you get. It also does allow at the design stage and tendering stage, estimators when they understand what these benefits are, you can get a much more consistent result with the turntable delivery, less issues to face on site, and the estimators can get a much more comfortable with achieving their estimations or their assumptions. So, mentioned support. We'll assist the company during tender stage. There's no cost to do that. We're happy to work with any company to see where the turntable might benefit, provide a proposal, and provide some design options. We might, there might be some things that we can bring to the table that are a great idea and benefit you even more. And obviously during construction with your engineering teams, we work with civil, hydraulic and electrical engineering disciplines. We do that every day, so we provide a lot of technical support in those fields. And obviously the safety space as well. The documentation that we provide is, it's delivered to global standards because we're working with the tier ones across the globe all the time. Okay, so we'll start to get into a bit more of the technical side of things now, and I know some people will be looking forward to that. So the installation, now we've got a number of different products available to the tunnelling industry, and one we're developing at the moment. But I'm just providing some details around the most common product, which is it's a relocatable turntable, but it takes some time to install. But we install that product, let's say a 10-metre diameter turntable, within 8 hours. That's with a 6-person team, right? So we can obviously achieve a better result than that, but with 6 people, comfortably do that within 8 hours. So one shift, we've got the turntable up and operating. The only bit of plant we require is a 3-ton telehandler or forklift. So very small equipment, nothing major, and it's a modular system. So it just goes together. It's really like a Meccano set there, and you can see one being installed on site. The product comes with robust safety features, so we have all the interlocks and parameters designed to meet the project-specific requirements. So during that design stage, we'll understand exactly what you need, and we'll provide that system that suits. The procedures, like the LOTO lockout, tag out procedures, we provide, so to allow maintenance to occur without any chances of incident. So safety of the people using the turntable in operation, but also we look at the safety during the maintenance period as well. Operations, very simple. We do train and provide verification of competency certificates to the people who trained in operation. You know, the on-site staff operate the turntable. We develop safe operating procedures, and that is a part of this system. So there'll be some boxes that have to be ticked off, and once they're ticked off, then it's a simple, you press the button, you pick the direction that you want it to rotate in, and you press a button. If you take your finger off the button, the turntable stops, and obviously you've got all the emergency stops and safety equipment backing you up as well. So it's a very simple system to operate, but again, we provide the proper training process. So with regards to specifications, the mechanism of this standard product, or the most common product that we deliver, is 300 millimetres deep. So obviously in some tunnels there's height restrictions. 300 millimetres for their mechanism is typically doesn't impact that badly. Can be installed on a range of foundation types. So we can install on compacted earth or gravel. We can install on a slope or an incline. Even with water ingress into the turntable in the tunnelling environments, the turntable can accommodate all of those things. And what's important we'll talk about is that everything's accessible through maintenance hatches. So in really dirty environments, in mining and tunnelling, we make sure that one of the biggest things we have to do during maintenance is clean out the turntable pit, because it gets a lot of contaminants in that area. But it's with regards to locations of installation, it's a very flexible product. All we need to know is where it's going to be installed, and we'll provide the system to allow that to happen. So to go into detail about the product, we have a central slew bearing. We use a product that's engineered for 6 million rotations, and it's actually engineered to cater for a much larger load than typically would be used for. So it's a reliable thing. The reason why we use such an overspec'd slew bearing is because it helps us reduce the height and to keep the product within that 300 millimetres. We include all the, we consider all the safety factors that would be industry standard. So, whether it's 2.5 or whatever, we consider those loads and apply it to the engineering. And the system comes with automatic greasing and lubricating, also an automated cleaning system for whilst it's in operation. So there's some automation of the product happening underneath whilst in operation that's going to improve the reliability of the product and reduce maintenance requirements. The drives here, again, we include redundancy into this part of the product, and we do that by there's 4 drives required on this standard or most common product. 2 of those drives are redundant. We still run, they operate on a duty cycle, so improving the life of the 4 units, and we're using a variable voltage, variable frequency type. So pretty common motor and gearboxes. You're talking about 1.1 kilowatt motors, so they're not, they don't cost a lot to run. They're fairly small, but they're very reliable. So as an idea, the reason why we provide 4 drives is 2 drives are required for operation. If one of those drives fails, a fault's indicated, and the drives can be disengaged. That faulty drive is disengaged, and the remaining drive will continue to operate until the planned changeover happens. So within 10 minutes, if you have an issue with the drives, one of the drives, within 10 minutes you're back up and operating. So we really reduce that opportunity for loss of production. Support wheels, so there's support wheels around the perimeter. We space them to reduce the turntable depth and reduce deflections. So it's not only to rotate the turntable around, it's also a structural element as well, and helps keep, again, we provide extra wheels, not only because it allows us to keep the height down to the 300 millimetres, but also if one of those drive fails, then the turntable continues to operate and a changeover is complete within 15 minutes. The controls, it's an example of one of our control stations, and they're obviously designed to build each site-specific details. It's all fully integrated. We're using advanced IPC control equipment, and it's compliant to IEC standards as required. So, the tunnelling standards, we just design the control centre to suit those requirements. And obviously, whilst it's complicated, we try and keep it as simple as possible. So again, reliability. Along with redundancy and fault finding, we have backup systems because it might be that the power supply is disrupted. So we also provide the turntables with a manual operation, and there's a couple of different ways we do that. So even if power's down in that area, you can still operate the turntable. It's not as efficient or easy, but you can still construct, get your truck movements through the tunnel. Again, maintenance, all the parts are accessible and changeable. We provide the training manuals to the on-site team. We also have people on the ground all over the country who can provide what you need, but it's also best if the on-site team have the capability to maintain it. So we do train the people on site to look after the unit for a much faster turnaround. We also do have remote monitoring of the components and fault finding. so we can actually remotely do a check on the turntable, make sure that it's running as it should. Just some procedures there, but here you see some examples of the access to the areas where we need to go. So we keep that. If the access is good, then the maintenance is a much faster process. The standards we use for the structure itself, we use a range of codes and directives and standards to meet the project requirements. We do all the FEA, all the engineering of the structure in-house. So all we need to know from the tunnelling, our clients, is number one, what's the maximum load that you might want to rotate, and what does that vehicle look like? But also we need to know what's the maximum load that might traverse over the top of the turntable. So you might have, your concrete sections being delivered on one of those trailer vehicles. The loads can be over the top, or you might run a mobile crane over the top of the turntable. We just need to know what they are, and we'll accommodate that in the structure when we deliver it. So nearly at the end here, everybody, you'll be glad to know, but we're also developing some research and development on improvements. Some of those include load cells or weigh station, integrating a load cells or weighing station into the turntable. In about a month or two's time, that product will be available. We're looking at models that are built for tunnelling, built within a cartridge that just get towed to a new location. So within 10 minutes, you can pick the turntable up and drag that to another location, which will be really good for as the tunnel advances. We're looking at increasing the portability even where the turntable can relocate itself to the new location. So there's a lot of improvements that are underway, but they're coming up. So I just wanted to finish off now with just some images of some, just to lighten it up a little bit, just some other projects that we've delivered. But as you see, it's pretty much always around saving space, improving safety, and increasing productivity. They're the keys. So that's me finished, everybody. Thanks a lot for your time. I hope it wasn't too boring. We are here to help, so I'll send out my contact details. We'd love to talk to you about any areas where you think this might benefit you or your associates. So please get in contact, and I think I'll finish up there, and we can take some questions.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for this wonderful webinar. And I think we already have questions on the way.
Well, as I said, keep them nice and simple for me, please.
So one of them is from Anshul. He says, is it possible to give a general idea of hiring cost? Let's say for 10-meter dia platform, how much would it cost to get one turntable?
Yeah, okay. So there's a mobilisation or an installation cost. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to talk in Australian dollars. Or do you want to talk US dollars or Australian? I'm not on top of the INR.
Yeah, it's okay. We can use Google to convert them.
Yeah, sure.
Please go
okay.
on. Yeah.
So in Australian dollars, here in the environment, in the tunnelling industry here, we would install the product for around $15,000, 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
The hiring cost itself on a midterm, it depends on on the time frame of the project. Let's say it's going for 12 months. You'd be looking about $2,000 per week to hire, and then there would be a demobilisation again of 15,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah, but and how do you see, does it affect the money that is invested in safety or the risks that are involved, and in terms of project time? Is it helpful? Have you had feedbacks from clients?
Yeah. So we've had feedback, and you'll see some of that in the when I share the testimonials and the case studies. We bought some projects. We've reduced a project on one site by 3 months, and that was that went over 9-12 months. So we can reduce a project by significant amounts. Every project that we've installed it on have all provided feedback, and it's very hard to get firm figures from them. But every project has said the cost of the turntable paid itself back within a couple of weeks. So the return on investment, you're talking in weeks or months for total, for over the project. The project value would be recovered in a couple of months.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. That's great. Ben, how much time does it take to dismantle and relocate a turntable? And do we need special equipments for it, or it can be done manually?
No. The turntable, that most common unit that I featured in the presentation, that would be relocated within 6 to 8 hours. So we can do that very fast, and that does not require any special equipment. We do have a product that's due to come out in the next 4 to 8 weeks, which is a portable unit that will be able to be relocated within 15 minutes.
Yeah. Great. We have one more question from Akshay. Akshay, you could unmute yourself and ask the question, please, or post it on the chat group, whichever is comfortable to you.
Yeah. Hi, Ben. It was a very interesting presentation, information which I believe not many people were aware of. And it can certainly be of use in India when we have quite a few large-scale tunneling projects where multiple shifts and multiple tunnels are being built together. My question to, I think, few part of that question you have already answered in last few questions. But for example, if you have a query from India for this turntable, then how much time will it take for you? Because I think these are custom-built unit in Australia. So how long does it take for you to install a turntable in a foreign country like India?
Yep. Okay. So if it was a standard product that we have stock levels here in Australia, then we have them ready to be shipped immediately. So we have a stock level here. If we had to design and manufacture something, you would be talking 8 to 10 weeks design and manufacture, 4 weeks shipping, and then you could install within that 8 hours. However, once we get some traction in India, and as I said, we've established a subsidiary company in India. We have partners on the ground ready to install everything. In the coming months, probably in the next 6 months, our approach would be to have stock levels available in India as well. So we could get that downtime down to a couple of weeks.
That's really great to know. Yeah, thanks.
So I think that's all, Ben. That's all from the audience. Thank you very much for being here with us today. And we have very enthusiastic people who listen to you today, motivated young members, and we have our YouTube channel as well, where we are going to upload this uh, talk, and we usually get more visitors there because it's more convenient for you to watch it on your own time.
Sure.
So definitely we have learned, and many more of us will learn while watching it on YouTube. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sandeep. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I hope it was of some value to you. And I look forward to communicating with you all in the near future. And hopefully we can meet each other face to face someday soon.
Definitely, Ben. Looking forward for that. Thank you very much. Take care.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Ben.
Bye-bye.